Well, people, I tilled until there was no more light, until I broke my tiller. And I've been holding on to this just to finish up this line. So it's kind of hard to do because it's bare metal down there. And this was motorcycle handlebars. But I'm fixing to turn this off. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I was trying to finish up the line. Man, so I was trying to finish up the line. That's the last one. That makes 13. My hand's a little bit messed up from it. I'm gonna wash it. Red, green, red, green, red, green. I got these stakes out here and lines tied off on the ones that I have to cut right next to. And then that's the row that I dug up. This is the one I'm going to walk on. I will have some stuff planted here. I ain't figured out if I'm going to make this white or leave it the red and green, and it'll be black and green as I get that other topsoil on. But this is my American flag garden. It's got It's got 13 stripes, starting with red at the top, all staked off. And because it's downhill, it's going to be a step garden. So, Irish potatoes, those are Kennebec brown. I put a tag. I'm using, I'll paint these later. I just wanted to stick something in the ground. I'll paint them and re-letter them, but there's where the sweet potatoes is going to be. That's the Russell Stewart line right there, the sweet potatoes. I really didn't have my apps working on my phone. I couldn't get into my calculator that day. I really did need help, and he helped me out. So Russell Stewart, that one's I'm gonna have a tag next to that that says Russell Stewart line. Tomatoes. More tomatoes. Just doing some surveying here off this. So, top right hand corner of my American flag. And then I'll get down to this side of it. I've tilled these rows, and I'm gonna put lime, peat moss, and I'm gonna put some already composted manure on it. And right there is the edge of my irrigation system from when I was growing sod out here. So I kept that. I'm gonna put a couple of heads on that. And then I just used a bucket to start with, and then I staked it off. So all these are staked. Every one of these lines, all the way down. This is the top left-hand corner of the flag. You can't really see now because it's starting to get dark. But this will be my field of blue for the banner, the Star Spangled Banner I'm growing out here. And I'm gonna put 50 tomatoes, but I've got about 300, so I'm gonna make a couple lines of tomatoes. But in here is gonna be staggered. All this is gonna be tilled up for this area. And I'm gonna put a little bit of this mesh fence around it that you may not be able to see. And I have 13 tomato plant stakes, and you can't see it, maybe. They're in the shape of the letter Q. Trust the plan, people. If I had a ladder, I could show you more. But there you go. There's the letter Q. So it's been a lot of tilling, and it's dark. So for anybody that's military out there, we appreciate you guys keeping us safe, and we appreciate the Mercy ship taking care of people that are sick. And I'm growing sweet potatoes because there was a woman the 1918 Spanish flu that said her dad went out there and tilled up a quarter of an acre and grew only sweet potatoes. And he fed the whole town. So if there be a need in my area, the lady that lives across the street's got horses. I know some other people. It's going to get me some, maybe some spent hay. And that's where my onions are going to be growing. Don't know if it's even bright enough to see that stick, but I put onions on it. Anyhow, so it's getting dark out here. But yeah, so that's part of what inspired me to do this. I've grown all my tomato plants from seed, and I built me a little greenhouse. I did the best I could with the greenhouse anyways. Just throw together kind of a little shack. The plants don't mind. And it's a war, people. Here's my battle axe. You know what I'm saying? So for real, it's not trench warfare. It's a little bit different. You gotta dig rows. So from seed, out of Dixie cups, you can put a rock in between them. Roots and Refuge, they use marbles. I actually had some marbles and put in some of them, but these are all the baby tomato plants. The Rutgers, and there's the South Carolina ones up here. There's just so many plants here. I got radishes, San Marzano tomatoes, chives, lettuce. That's romaine lettuce. It was already a plant, and I bought it and put it back here, but it's growing real good. Not enough light, I guess. It's like I said, little tour of my stuff. Jalapeno, habanero, a couple tomato plants. That down there is kale that you can't see. Maybe I'll plug it up so that you can see it. Ain't no sense not having it lit up. I've got more lights out here. I just have not turned them on yet. It just now got to be dark, and I just got done tilling. But I've got there's my kale. One leaf started turning yellow, but it does that, and you can eat those. It's cut and come again. You can just grab a piece off of it, a couple pieces. You can cook it down. People make kale chips. There's my limestone, my lime fertilizer, my 10-10-10, and a very large square bale of peat moss. So 3.8 cubic foot. I tried this Miracle-Gro pot and soil. I honestly don't know if I like it as much as I like the other off-brand. But yeah, so, and up here, these are garlic. I put some sweet potatoes out here, but I got some sweet potato plants. Here they are. That's the start of my sweet potato garden. Check out your local feed and hay supply store for horses if you want plants and seed and stuff while they're playing games at Walmart. You can do what you got to do, and I got that from Ace Hardware. Rather than, this was only 10 bucks, rather than getting a pitchfork. That's for my compost pile that I didn't plan on having, but all the pallets out here rotted, so I raked it off that floor. I need to put hay down out here. Oh yeah, and I got these potatoes growing. Those are Yukon Gold. More Yukon Gold over here. And let's see. Oh, that San Marzano, that's going to be huge. I'm going to need a pole for that. And chives. And this is a precision operation, people. I got to lift that sign up. But what I did was I put plastic up here. One side is wood, just with some, oh, it doesn't matter, man, whatever you got. I'm going to replace that, but I threw something up, just put the plywood up, and to put the plastic roof that far, and I'll put more on the edge. And it's already rained a couple times. I haven't had no problems. And that, with the pollen on the top of it, I might even rinse that off to get better light, is plastic roofing. And this is the cool part. It's made in Israel. So you know what I did? I took the sticker off, and like the Passover, where they put the mark on their entranceway, I stuck it over here on the side here at the top. I'm not gonna be able to see it because there's no light back here, but it says made in Israel. That plastic sheeting stuff is made in Israel. I thought that was pretty cool, right? So hopefully things will pass over. All right, well, it doesn't matter how pretty it is, and this will be a shelf over here. The plants don't care, people. You know, plant a garden now. And then in a few months, if the truck drivers are sick and you want vegetables, you'll have tomatoes, sweet potatoes. Well, sweet potatoes will come later, but you'll have lettuce. And when I'm done with putting these tomatoes in the ground, I'm going to plant more right behind it. So I'll have even more baby plants right behind it. And down there is, let's see, lettuce, but I've got some squash. And pick me up a little watering can from the dollar store. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take bottles of water, and I'm going to put a screw in the cap, and I'm going to have it on the stakes that I have for the tomato plants, and it can drip water. I also got a couple other, I got the irrigation system that'll reach so far, and then I've got a sprinkler. So what I'm using is 10-10-10. You can use up to 13-13-13. Some people use 5-5-5. It's only what you believe in, to be honest with you. And then once that's done in 45 days, I'm gonna start feeding it the Miracle-Gro in the Miracle-Gro low no clog feeder that I've had since, I don't know, since Carter was in administration, I guess, whatever. This is old. It's newer. The other one broke, so it still works. But yeah, get you a no clog feeder, and that stuff in there, you just scoop out stuff and put it in here, and the water shoots it out. So yeah, we got radishes, chives, romaine lettuce. I got stuff growing, people. And then, yeah, I couldn't show this. These are my other tomato plants that I actually bought to give me a bumper crop, to get me something started and kick me in the tail to go ahead and dig up the ground. But I'm going to put lime in the ground so it's less acidic. And then I'm going to, after that, I'm going to wet it, and I'm going to wait a few days. And then I'm going to put the peat moss in, okay? And that's going to cover my whole garden. After the lime, the peat moss. After the peat moss, and after I till that in with my tiller or fertilizer. So you can get an old tiller, and you can go to Harbor Freight and get one of their engines for about, you know, $190 or $119. I bought one a while back and just now put it on there. Had to get a different pulley. But I will have shelving up here. I got 1, 2 before. I need a couple, another one, and I just put it, basically, these are sawhorses. Sawhorse on that side and a sawhorse on this side, and that is my shelf. So anyhow, that wasn't even long enough. I put another one there, but I set up on bricks, and that's about it. Mounted me a little light. Everything's all lit up with that light there, and then there you go. And I got a couple of these. They're not grow lights. You don't need grow lights. So hope you like my little greenhouse. Like I said, it's not even airtight. I mean, this side's open. I wasn't doing it over the winter. Anything I did in the cooler weather, you can do in the garage. You can actually take a plastic tote, a clear plastic tote, and put it upside down on top of a bag of topsoil and start some plants that way. I'm starting them this way. I got one out here somewhere. And then I'm going to grow some of this stuff and leave it in buckets like that kale. Will probably stay in that bucket. We'll see about those bins if that makes the potatoes happy. But I've got a lot of potatoes. I've got whole rows out there I've already marked, and they're going in those rows. And we're going to see what happens with onions. So if you're interested, I'll put up links to another guy's channel where he actually pulls potatoes out of the ground. I ain't going to show you all that because it's going to be a while out. But he had good luck with the same kind of potatoes I'm growing. And I'm growing the Rutgers tomatoes. South Carolina tomatoes. So Russell Stewart, I appreciate you doing the math for me. I seriously couldn't get into that app. Y'all stay safe. I'm gonna get off this thing. This is a precision operation. Trust the plan, people. I'm out. Peace.